All right. Oh, good. So hi, everybody. Thank you for coming in for this Magic Monday Intuition. So I have a few notes to make sure I don't forget. I want to make sure that you don't share the link to the class and invite your friends to contact me directly. That way I can keep our meeting room private. This is where, I don't know if any of you here, people get, what is it called, bombed or whatever, Zoom bombed. And I don't want that. So we want to just keep our space. So it's not for any other reason other than to not have that experience. I will be sending a recording and a handout. So that we'll do afterwards. I will show you the handout. We'll talk about it a little bit. You'll take a few notes, but it's mostly about increasing your awareness and discovery of your own skill set. And I'll talk more about that. So make sure you write down your questions. Probably, since we're right now a very small group, I can take the questions as we're going. So now,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I'm on a Zoom. Sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so for some of you, I don't know you, and for others of you, I do. But so I want to tell you a little bit about how I get to sit here with you. My name is Cindy Mattingly. I was trained 40 some odd years ago. Robin's coming. Okay. I was trained 40 some odd years ago as an occupational therapist. And what I found is I was getting information about the clients or patients that no one had put in their charts or the patient hadn't told me. And of course, you know, in the medical world, that's kind of weird. So I didn't talk too much about it. But I am a curious person by nature, so I started doing lots of research. And this is how I came up with my own idea about intuition. So my belief is that everybody's intuitive and that we all have that ability if we're listening. If we listen to the subtle energy of the feedback that you're getting, then it's like somebody went, oh, I never looked at it that way, as an example. The best way I can tell you is the definition that I use about intuition is that it is a magnified sensory experience. So when I say sensory, I'm talking, you know, your eyes, your ears, taste, smell, all of those, but it's magnified to that next level. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're a really magnified hearer. I'm going to hearer. And someone's talking to you and you hear a word underneath their conversation. And then you use that word in your response to them. And they go, I never said that. Now, what's the first thing that everybody says? Oh, I must have misheard them, right? That's what we dismiss it. We minimize it. But what I found is that if it's a magnified experience, sound is a vibration. So what you're picking up on is an undertone of vibration of something that they may not have said out loud, but you heard because you're in tune to that magnified energy, as a sense. So, you know, another really good example is I do animal energy sessions and I hear the animal talking to me. Now, you can just imagine the first time that happened, or even the second or the third, it's a little freaky, right? You know, to go, I'm hearing the animal tell me this. And yet, what's happening here is that the animal thinks in pictures. That's a well-documented phenomena. The animal thinks this way. So what's happening is the energy is being converted, and I hear it. So it's like, so it's all about paying attention to these things where you go, that's really crazy. One of my first really solid experiences was this is probably about 30 years ago. I'm treating somebody in my room. It's a Saturday afternoon. There's nobody in the clinic. The doors are closed, the door's locked, the client's on the table, and I hear, as though somebody's standing here, the feet are cold. Go put a blanket on them. And I'm like, all right, I'll just go do it. And of course I realized it wasn't the client, but I put the blanket on and the client opens their eyes and they're like, how did you know? I was getting ready to ask you. I was like, oh, I was just guessing. So they leave and I'm sitting there with myself going, am I hallucinating? This is getting weird. So I asked a few friends that I sort of trusted and they were like, no, I've never heard anybody speaking in my room and da da da. I was like, okay, I need to do more research. So that's my experience over the years is there are things going on. I know I had this experience and yet there's no way to validate it. Has everybody else had that experience where something, some sense of you is like, what is this? Either you felt something, you heard something, you saw something, you tasted something. We're going to talk about all that. But that's the idea. Robin is muted. She's probably thinking I don't like her. Where's Robin? There you are. Unmute. Hey, Robin.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
You could hear me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So let's start. Let me make sure. Okay. So now let's start with Clara audience. So what I did is I did a bunch of research and I found out that you find all your senses with the word Claire. And I'm going, let me go here and share the page. This one. Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, great. So the first top part you can see is basically what I just said. So we're going to start with Clara audience. So all of these 6 senses, Claire means clear, and audience, auditory, right? So we're talking about clear hearing. And then the question I would ask you to ask yourself right now is, did you hear an answer when you ask yourself a question? Now, the first thing everyone says to me is, well, how do you know that that's not, how do you know? That's intuition, or it is your ego, right? The hamster on the wheel that talks too much. And eventually what happens is you start recognizing the feeling or the vibration in your body of this is just guidance, because there's no attachment to it. It just is. So that's an important clairaudience. My loudest sense of all of these is clairaudience. Someone will ask me a question, I have an answer. Something happens and I hear an answer. So that would be a really good way of practicing, is to say, do I want to wear the red scarf or the blue scarf? And see what you hear. And it's important that you hear it, not see it, not know it, but hear it. So the more you check out each one of your senses, the clearer each one of them will get. And then this is, do you hear an unspoken word when you're having a conversation? Somebody says something like, oh no, that doesn't really bother me, but underneath of it, you hear something else. And then you know, if it happened to me, it would bother me. And then they go, well, I didn't really want to hurt your feelings. So you can use it in that way as it helps you just get clarity around your communication. So the clairaudience, one of the ways that you heighten this intuition is by paying attention to what do you hear and not dismissing it and thinking, oh, I got ringing in my ear, whatever it might be, but that you're paying attention to these subtleties that you go, yeah, I did hear my cat say no way. Any questions about that? It's good? Okay. So clairalience, clear smelling. So do you smell a perfume of someone's deceased? Before my grandmother passed away, I would go into my bedroom where I have a rocking chair, and that would be where I would do some meditations and journaling and things of that sort. And when I'd walk in there, I would smell white shoulders, and that was her perfume. And when she passed, that's what woke me up that night that she passed, was white shoulders. So that's smelling a heightened energy and being able to recognize and connect it. Another one is smelling roses when there are none in the room. And the example I would give here is I had a client walked in. I had seen her before. And when she walked in, I couldn't stop smelling roses. And I thought, wonder what's going on. She's really scent sensitive. Why do I keep smelling this? And, I thought, okay, well, let's see what happens because she doesn't wear cologne. Anyway, I eventually asked her, are you by any chance, do you know roses? She starts crying. And she had just received the diagnosis of breast cancer. And for her, the roses smell was Mother Mary. So it was like she felt like that was a sign energetically of she was surrounded and supported through this whole journey. So I got the intuitive hit through my smell, and I was able to help her basically share what was going on for her. Another smell sometimes for people is they might smell sulfur, or they might smell burning wood when there's nothing around. And usually that kind of smell has either, it can be something karmic. It can also be that someone that maybe they've been out across the, like my family lives on a farm in Kentucky. And then if I smell something like that, that's very woodsy, I usually know somebody in my family has been out working on the farm, working outside. And then I can usually text them and say, hey, what's up today? And then I'll find out, oh yeah, they were burning brush. Okay. So you just use that awareness. You don't judge it. You just say, that's interesting. There's none of that around here, but let me test it. And the more you test it, the more you get the feedback that your intuition is heightened in that area also. So clairaudience is clear taste. And this is really a big one that a lot of people, when they're getting energy work or body work, they will taste metal in their mouth. like they'll, oh, what is that terrible taste? And then I'll ask them if they've ever tasted it before. And I'm like, sometimes it can be around anesthesia. Sometimes it can be around detox, that there's something going on in their body, but they're releasing it. So drink a lot of water. So I use it as a way to help me guide them. And then sometimes you can taste something and you're able to list the ingredients. And a great example is my husband, Mark. He will go to a restaurant. He'll take a bite of a dish and he'll go, oh, it has cardamom and cloves and, you know, this thing and some turmeric. And I'm like, you got that all from a spoonful? Or another profession that's built on this is the wine tasters. Right, they can put just a sip in their mouth, and what do? They can tell you what region it's at and all that. That's a heightened sensory experience, and I would call that intuitive. Then you have clairsentient, clear feeling. These are the people that are the empaths. These are the people that feel other people's emotions. So if somebody comes in and they're mad, they might get anxious. Or if you don't really understand, but you're feeling like crying, and then in walks your best friend who has, you know, just found out that their mother has passed. So it's paying attention to the fact that you're feeling a way and then recognizing, oh, that's what it was from. The anxiety, even your anger, but you're picking up on something that's going on that's significant for you. And for any of you guys who either see clients or you do you get chills when somebody says something that's true? Like, for instance, if somebody says, oh, this virus thing, it's going to be around for a while, and you get chills. You know, then you know that, oh, that's true. Or it's something you really don't want to be true, but you get it. Claircognizance means clear knowing. And these are the people that know what they know because that's what they know. They don't know why they know it. They just, I know this for sure. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to go do this. I'm supposed to meet you. I don't know why. Got another, oh, this is another person coming on. So the claircognizance, this is where if you sit down and you say, you know, I think I'd like to make an apple pie and I've never made one before. And I think I'll throw this recipe together and this recipe together and I know it's going to work. That's kind of an inspiration. They're being guided by what? They're being guided by their intuition. And it's all about knowing. I love to look at recipes, and I many times will look at recipes and go, oh, that one's not going to work. Those ingredients don't go together. Oh, that one's going to work really good. And we make it and it's great. Or you get an intuitive, or when I sit down and I write weekly wisdoms, sometimes I go, okay, I don't know what I'm going to write. Okay, what's people been asking me about? And that will be, and then I'll just write it in 20 minutes. And then, do you have knowledge of things that you were not trained in? Have you ever learned something that was just easy? When I went to polarity class, I think we were in the first or the second day of class, and they showed us the first pathway. And I immediately, you know, she demonstrated it, the teacher, and I walked up and I just did it. And everybody goes, did you read the book ahead? I'm like, nope. So again, it's that idea that I've probably done that before somewhere. And then the last one is clairvoyance. And this is the one that everybody wants. They want to be able to see. And I would say it's a mixed bag because our vision is not always accurate. You know, if 5 people are standing around a intersection and 5 people witness the same accident, they'll have 5 different viewpoints. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to clear seeing. You might see this. I might see this in their energy field. But as an example, you might all see the halo or the glow around the person, and it looks like a shadow. And that's really just allowing yourself to kind of gaze at the person, daydream in a way. And then sometimes you can close your eyes and get more information. So when someone comes in, they walk in, I look at them, and many times I'll see a shadow on their body. But if I close my eyes, I'll actually see a different spot maybe on their body, but it'll give me, oh, I should be looking at their right shoulder and look down towards their belly button, whatever that is, to see what kind of information I can gather from the physical as well as the clairvoyant idea of seeing through the third eye, as they call it. So now from this point, I'm going to turn off the share. There we are. Good. Let's see if everybody's got their, yeah. Okay. So what I thought I would do now is, whoop, just lost somebody. Oh, Catherine. Is see if we can start at the very beginning and you can share questions or your own experiences of clairaudience. Have you ever had that experience, or do you think it's just weird? What do you think? Everybody's got their audio open. No comments? Yeah. Alarica.
I definitely had that experience before, and I was like looking around and who knows, I didn't sleep well, I had too much coffee, who knows what's going on around me, I imagine it, but lately I've been paying more attention to what I feel through all my senses, and I try to, and I think it's my ego or my rational mind trying to override everything that comes intuitively. But yeah, definitely, I did hear it.
Well, and the rational mind, right, the left side, and your intuitive mind's just bringing in the information, and the rational mind like wants to put it in a folder. And really, you know, it doesn't work that way, right? You just pay attention. You just pay attention. How about anybody else? No?
I had the one time that I can think of, I got a very clear answer to a question.
You heard it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was shouted at me, which I love because there was no denying it.
Your guidance or intuition, your psychic abilities is yelling at you.
Yeah, I loved it. So yeah, I've had that once.
Well,
I'm maybe more, but that was very clear.
Well, and that's as we give it more opportunity and we don't dismiss it, we use it as, oh, discovery, then it'll get louder. Well, okay. Maybe it might not yell at you, you know, but.
No, it can yell, it's fine. I don't want to miss it, Cindy.
I got it. Yeah. Anybody else? So it's hearing. No? Because I know, like, I used to hear laying in bed at night when there's no run around, neighbors, nothing, and I'll hear either music or conversation. And I'm like, where is that coming from? You know, it's picking it up in the ethers, right? Magnified experience. So you ready to go to the next one?
I maybe can hear something sometime, but it's pretty new, so
Right.
I don't know what to do with it yet.
Right. Well, you have the experience
Yeah.
and you don't dismiss it. And then what that does is it allows the experience to happen again. And then eventually you go, oh, when I see, hear, smell that, then it means this for me.
Right.
That makes sense to you?
Yes. But I think it also comes with some feelings.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Intuition is usually non-biased.
So it could be a combination of.
Well, and as you extract this stuff apart and you realize, oh, I saw this, I heard this, and I felt this, it will become stronger. Each one will tell you, so you'll be able to experience the energy of whatever's coming in any one of the senses that is right at that time. Because every client or student or whoever, when they come in, they're very different. Like each one of you guys are very different. Your energy is very different. So the experience of you, I would expect to feel from some of you and hear from others because the energy is different. Does that make sense? That's a great observation, Millie. So clear smelling. Anybody ever had that experience? Where you smelled something and it wasn't in the room?
I do. I didn't know that it was a thing. I smell the burning wood all the time. So I
It's a
didn't.
thing.
Yeah. Okay. I go looking. I'm like, what is that smell? And I like walk around.
Right.
Yeah, me too. Does it have a significance? Because it happened to me in the last few months, and
Right.
there is no. I live in a townhouse. There is no way to. I don't have a fireplace. Nobody does. Does it have a significance?
Each person is a little different. So I would tell you, for instance, burning wood did that with my family, but sulfur, for instance, is usually can be like a discordant energy, like a ghost. And I had a ghost for a while that was following me. And I was like, this is so weird. Where is that smell coming from? And it was a ghost. So you figure it out eventually, but and then now, whenever I smell that, I'm like, okay, something spooky going on here. You know, now I pay attention. I now have a label for it. So you just keep asking questions and saying, okay, is this a deceased person? Is it a symbol or something I need to know? Is it a warning? Keep asking the question. And Valerica, I don't know if you douse, but I know Robin does.
Yeah.
So you can just.
I'm not so good.
Me neither. It's fine.
Well, just keep. That's next class.
Yeah.
We're going to bring your pendulums. No, but the idea is that you're paying attention, and then you're going to connect the dots. You know how when you first learn how to drive, you're trying to follow certain rules, and then what do you do eventually? You don't have to pay attention so much. Well, that's kind of the same thing with intuition. I mean, one of the things that I always am told is that I'm a psychic, and I would tell you I'm not a psychic. That's not my profession. You know, my profession is an energy practitioner. I want to help people. I want to teach them how to do it themselves. I want to put myself out of a job. because I would really like to see all of you guys go out into the world and teach other people. Because what's that going to do? It's going to help us all feel better, right? We're going to feel more confident with our interactions with energy. That to me is what it's all about. The smelling one, I find the most intriguing because many times we will dismiss it even quicker because we think, wow, the wind must have been blowing and it caught this energy, you know, whatever the smell is, into my house or into my townhouse. And just pay attention, because if it keeps showing up, like the burning wood, it could be a person who did, you know, bonfires, and here you go. Just keep asking the question. Okay, now clear taste. Any of you guys a wine person, you know, with that educated palate? Not me. It's my husband for sure. No? One of the things that I found very fascinating is I read an article, again in my research, about Clara Gustians. You know, for a while there was a TV show on called The Profiler, right? And these are, I mean, they don't call them psychic, they don't call them intuitive, they call them a profiler, right? But one of the things that's very common about true profilers is they actually can taste blood when they know they're getting close to the person that is the guilty party. That's a very like high probability in the profiler world. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of like, wow. So they have that heightened sense, but it comes through their taste buds. It's like, that would not be one of my skill sets. I'm okay with that. Right? So clairsentient, clear feelings. How many of you guys are empaths? Raise your hands. Come on. How many of you feel other people's emotions? I feel like everybody should probably be pretty close to being guilty. Right. You know, it's like if you meet somebody and you feel sad or you ache after you see somebody, or they're either you're tired, you're draining your energy, you're taking on their energy. That's the empaths. I'll start doing cranial sacral. The person tells me they have a headache, and the next thing I know, I have a headache. So my body is taking on that energy, and I'm like, no. So I thank the energy and I send it on its way because it's not mine. So that's the empaths are the ones that, you know, they can take on the imprint of a disease. So you don't want to be doing that. But we do it a lot through emotions. And how many of you have those chills when something is really right? Oh, I liked that house. Whew. Or what they told you was, you know, really great or cool. That's amazing. Whew, I got such chills when that was so true. Who has that kind of experience?
Yep.
I do.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah. Linda, I know you. You're like, I don't know Ellen and Millie as well, but I know you know, the thing is that we're so used to hiding these sensitivities because they're kind of weird, right? Or other people think that they're really weird. In this small group here, it's not weird. It is actually being sensitive. And this is one of the things that I tell a lot of people is the sensitive people have a very vivid life. I'm not saying there are actual life out there is, but this life, when you have an experience, the colors are stronger, the emotions are bigger, all of that piece of it, you go, wow. But that's the part of the intuition where the more you listen to it, the more you can either get inspired or you can help others by being able to hold space for them as an empath. Does that all make sense to everybody? Because you guys all, it's very funny as I'm intuitively, I'm like, they're all empaths. They all get this. Yes, everybody?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's like, what do you do with that information? Because that's basically what you're doing as an empath. You're taking on that signature or the energy. You've got, oh, they're really angry, or oh, they're really sad, or whatever it is. And then what do you do with that? Dismiss it. Because it's not yours. It takes a while, doesn't it, to recognize, well, did I have this or is that theirs? And that becomes part of that, is this mine or is it somebody else's? And asking that question, which in dowsing is helpful, but knowing what your own emotional state is prior to getting on a call on Zoom or meeting with somebody or whatever, that helps you to go, wait a minute, I took that on. I want to dismiss that. Then the claircognizance, clear knowing. Who's a knower? Who knows what they know? Robin. Who knows what they know? You know the right person. You meet them and you go, I like them. Or get me out of here right now. Yeah. I mean, that clear knowing, maybe you don't have it every second, but you go in and you go, ooh, I don't like this. I don't know why, I just don't. I drive in Boston that way. You know, I drive and then I go, okay, I'm not really sure where I am. I'm going to take a right. I don't know where I'm going. I get there though.
Yep.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I don't. Like, that's the only way to live down there, I think, at least to me. But that's one of the things. How do anybody else? Okay, Robin, Linda, anybody? What about you guys? Millie, Ellen, Valerica, you have that knowing, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And this is something that lately, for the last couple of years or so, I've been trying to develop or encourage it. So I just trust. So as you said, if I like, oh, maybe I should take a ride, I'm sure I'm going to get where I need to. And I just go. And I trust that it's going to take me where I'm supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Either faster or safer or much better than the GPS, for instance.
Right. So you
Yeah, many times.
trust it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great phrase. How about you, Millie and Ellen?
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can it come through writing?
Oh, absolutely. Because the one of the questions is do you get inspired? If you're writing, it can be through journaling, it can be, but it's really just about, you're not going through your thinking mind. You just,
Things just come out in
Yeah.
writing.
whether it's in the writing.
So yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Or painting.
Painting, that's really good. Robin, yours is probably a
I would ask about, Claire knowing it versus premonition. Like I'll think about somebody or something, and then a day later, like I get a call about it or something comes across my way. But I thought about the person ahead of,
right.
hearing from them.
Yeah, you can call that cognizance. You can call it clairvoyance. It depends upon which sense it kind of came in. Some people have dreams.
Mhm.
You know, so if your thought, if it was about a thought, I would consider that the clear knowing, right? I mean, I know a lot of people that have dreams and then the dreams come true. That's considered somewhat of a precognitive thing, but it's still that clear knowing. I mean, how did you know about that person? You knew it before it happened.
Right,
So
right.
that's very cool. Yeah. Cool. Look at this. I am among my peeps because everybody here is just as sensitive. I love it. And then I left the last one, the clairvoyance, because that's the one that most people want to see. They want to see the energy. They want to see the pictures that you see in the books. And I would tell you that that's not what I see. I think those are pretty pictures, renditions of what is sort of there, but it looks more like, with my physical eyes, I would say, you know how you're driving along and we've had a rainstorm and the steam is coming up off of the road and it looks kind of misty, but that would be somewhat of what I might see behind someone's as a aura. So it's not necessarily a circle or a blob. It might be green here, and then I might see a dark spot here, and then, so there's not a solid stationary, because what's energy? It's constantly moving. So it's going to come in and it's going to go out. So that's, you can see all kinds of, like I'll see cords. I can see, this is with my physical eyes. I can see the chakras. You know, somebody comes in, they got a physical problem. I can see that. Many times, you know, like if somebody comes in and they've had a concussion, I'll see the concussion, but more of what I'll see is the actual accident. So that's kind of a clear knowing, like you were asking, Ellen. It's like having a sense of, okay, yeah, you got this, but I can see you fell and you didn't really hit your head, you actually hit your butt. And so you have a sacral concussion. And they're like, yeah, then I hit my back of my head, you know, like, so it's, but you're gathering the information and using it for the benefit of whomever you're with, whatever you're doing, whether it's painting or school or clients or writing, and you're using it to facilitate that. The other way you can have clairvoyance, so clear seeing, is when you close your eyes. We call that imagination, right? Or visualization. But if you ask to be shown what you require, like for instance, if somebody doesn't see their energy cords, so it's a dysfunctional connection, then I might say, close your eyes and see if you can see the cord between you and blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh yeah, because what I'm doing is I'm taking out the distraction of this physical world, and then all they're connecting with is the actual energy. So it's a really cool combination. And sometimes if I'm not clear about what I need to do, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, somebody will be talking to me and all of a sudden I'll close my eyes and go, wait a minute, let's back up, blah, 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 blah. So clairvoyance, but the key piece for all 6 of these types of intuition is for paying attention, treat it like discovery. Think about the fact that it's like, for me, it's like a game. Oh, isn't that funny? I mean, I get tickled when somebody says, you were 100% right. I'm like, I was? Oh, how funny is that? Because I'm not attached to it, But I think it's kind of funny when I really am right. Even though I'm pretty right most of the time, because I'm not attached. You know, it's that kind of thing. So is there other questions, other thoughts, other comments? Other exercises you want to know about besides paying attention? And
I can go back.
whoever
ahead.
wants to go first.
I said I could go back to the hearing one and wonder if that's sometimes the problem of my husband and I communicating.
Oh, without a shadow of doubt. Without a shadow of doubt. There's the energy of the relationship, and then there's the physical words that are being spoken. And they flow like this, right?
Yeah.
Word. This is what's on the surface. And then underneath here is what's going on in the actual energy. What's the unspoken stuff? Yeah.
Sometimes I think he should know more than he thinks he knows by the questions he asks.
Yeah, but that's, you know. So in
Mars-
the energy world, huh? What did you say?
Mars and Venus.
Yeah, sometimes you do need an interpreter.
Mhm.
In the energy world, right, there's you, there's George, and then there's this entity that overlaps with the two of you called the relationship. So when he's talking, this is the physical part of him talking, but what's also going in there is the energy in here. And so that's the clairaudience. It's the unspoken stuff that maybe should have been said last time. I always call it the elephant in the room, you know, because it's like that was left unsaid last time. But that's really, but the thing is that you being aware of it may not necessarily influence him, but it may help your communication because you'll be aware that there's two things going on. He may not.
Yeah.
He might not be interested.
Well, we both have hearing problems besides.
On top of that, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. And Valerica, did you have a question?
Yes, I was wondering if there is any exercise or practice that could help the clairvoyance.
Well, the most important thing that will happen, all 6 of those, is meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's 5 minutes, because what allows you to stop and pay attention to the information and not go, oh, that means this, because that clamps down on the energy. So you just want to go, oh, well, isn't that interesting? I'm smelling burning wood. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That moment of allowing that space is a meditative, because you slow down the mind and then you're able to just watch it instead of label it, which is the left brain, right?
Yeah.
Labels it and then it freezes it. So the more you, and meditation doesn't have to be this fancy, long drawn out anything. It can just be breath work, 5 minutes. It can be light a candle, say a prayer to Mother Mary, and say thank you, and you're done. I mean, it doesn't, but it's that moment where you stop and pause and breathe. You don't let the world I think that's one of the benefits of this whole virus thing, is everybody had to stop.
Mm-hmm.
We've had to. There's been no choices, for safety purposes. But meditation is the best. For clairvoyance, great blue heron just flew by my window. That's a sign.
Mm-hmm.
So in the shower, when the water's coming down like this, if you put your hands out like this and watch it with the water, many times you can see the aura around the fingers.
Mhm.
So that's an example of way you can have against a white wall, have a person stand there, and you can take a lamp and just shine it on them, try it in different places. And what you'll end up doing is after you just kind of daydreamy look at them, then you will see more of their aura because you're doing a light, basically reflection. That's for the visual.
Mhm.
In the meditation, if you're meditating with your eyes closed, this is a phrase I use in RISE, so it's an energy clearing technique. Ask to be shown and to remove, and then like I would remove cords. Ask to be shown and to repair any holes. Like I'm telling the energy very specifically, my eyes are closed, so then I'll see the cords or I'll see the holes or the tears in the energy field and I can repair them.
Mhm.
But I'm telling the energy very specifically, ask to be shown and then to repair or to
Remove.
very specific,
Mhm.
because energy always follows thought. And the more you pause and pay that attention, then the more will be shown to you.
Cool. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anybody else? Other questions? Okay. So was this helpful at all?
Yes.
It was very helpful.
Yes.
If you have feedback that you think that you feel like would make this better, just the experience, you can just send me an email. That would be very helpful. I want to help. So I want to be able to give, so if you have a feedback thing that you think would make this even a better experience, I would love to have that. And then next Monday is the dowsing. You can bring your pendulum, or like I have my necklace. I use necklaces sometimes. I have mala beads, those are, what mala beads are, everybody?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So, and sometimes I'll use them, but that's a fun class too. But I appreciate that. And let me see, who is Valerica? Are you coming to the next one? Yes.
Yes.
So I'll
Yes.
send you an invite. And then Linda, you're coming to
Yep.
the next one, right? Okay. And Ellen, are you signed up for the next one?
I didn't
Yes.
sign up yet, but I'm interested. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let me just put you down here so I'm gonna send the things out tomorrow, so that helps me not forget people.
The next one's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. That's Robin. She's already really good at it. And
I
Millie,
can't wait for this one.
the dowsing?
Yeah,
That's funny.
I gotta get better at it.
Me too.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. And then
Thank you for having us.
the recording and the handout once I get it, because it's going up into the cloud.
Mhm.
And then when they're done with it, they'll give it to me and then I'll forward it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Sydney.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.